of Ms. Judy Marigomen Taguiwalo as Secretary of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. In the last meeting, several members already asked questions to the appointee, while several others had manifested their intentions to address other issues. But due to the lack of material time, that meeting was suspended. May we now ask Secretary Taguiwalo to please take the seat, and the chair is reminding her that she is still under oath. Good morning, Secretary. The Majority Floor Leader is recognized to report on the parliamentary status for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This committee held a meeting last May 3, 2017, during the first regular session of the 17th Congress. It was attended by 22 members. We initially deliberated on the ad interim appointment of DSWD Secretary Judy Marigomen Taguiwalo. Diverse topics on different subjects were discussed, including the appointee's background and personal life, the circumstances surrounding her appointment as DSWD, her affiliation, activism, and spouse ideology, her outlook towards her department and the services it provides to the public in terms of calamity assistance and disaster response, prepositioning and warehousing of relief goods, and other related issues. She was also asked to comment on the issue of the alleged extrajudicial killings, DSWD's drug rehabilitation program, the conditional cash transfer, the 4Ps, and other social benefits and assistance for the poor and vulnerable. The chair also announced that Senators Gregorio B. Onasan II, Francisco Kiko P. Palangilinan, and Representative Josephine Y. Ramirez Sato, and some other members expressed their intention to ask questions to the appointee. For lack of material time, the meeting was suspended until today, August 16, 2017. No recommendation has yet been adopted on the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Secretary Judy Taguiwalo. She was technically already bypassed twice, Mr. Chairman. This is the second, and her appointment, she was reappointed by the President on July 23, 2017. That's the parliamentary status, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Gentlemen, ladies, there's no need to do the roll call as this is just a continuation. But for the record, may I mention the names of the members who are here. We have Congressman Bambol Tolentino, Congressman Benhor Salimbangon, Congressman Jerry Treñas, Congressman Bullet Halosos, Congressman Wes Gatchalian, Congressman Roy Loyola, Congresswoman Sandy Ocampo, Congresswoman Josephine Sato, Congresswoman Julieta Cortuna, of course the Majority Leader, Congressman Albano, the Vice Chair of the Commission on Appointments, the Chairman of the House Contingent, Congressman Ronnie Zamora. We also have Senators, Senator Cynthia Villar, Senator Frank Drilon, Senator Greg Honasan, and Senator Ping Lacson. The appointee is now ready to respond to any more comments or questions from the members. May we now proceed with the questions and inquiries from the members of this committee. Sino magtatanong? Senator Honasan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, good morning.
Senator.
I only have one question, but let me lay a rather lengthy premise for what I want to ask you. The ultimate trajectory of everything that we are doing now, of course, must commence with recovery, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. The peace process is not the end, but the beginning. So it is in this light that I have to take advantage of this opportunity to ask for your insights, no, your views on the peace process as it should logically lead to something that is right up the alley of the department you now head. Let me go to the peace process as a starting point. In your opinion, what has set back the peace process in as far as the talks that are ongoing between the government and the CPP, NP, NDF? I laid the premise for that because it is material, no, in the sense that whatever happens to you as a nominee this morning is of no moment when compared to the plans and programs, your efforts to institutionalize certain directions that will ultimately lead to this end goal. So that was my first question. I may try to amplify, but bakit ho tumigil yung peace process? From where you sit?
May I answer, sir?
Please proceed, Secretary.
I have not been involved directly with the peace process. I have never participated in any of the meetings of the government panel and the NDF. I look at my work in DSWD as part of the efforts of the Duterte administration to bring services to the people that they need. In terms of peace, I think we all understand that the President from the beginning had said we cannot have a country always on war. We have had war for the past 40 years. We don't want to see it for another 40 years. So peace is a condition for development. And development is a requirement for peace. The two are interrelated, okay? So we are the Social Welfare and Development Department. The President tasked me to provide the services to the people that are of immediate needs during disaster, during crisis, to sectors who are marginalized and vulnerable. I have done that as the immediate response of the government, but I will really look forward to a time that we have really reduced poverty because people have land, people have jobs, that we don't need to give educational assistance because people have access to free education, that we don't need to give burial assistance or medical assistance because hospitals are free. So what we're doing now are really stopgap measures under conditions of widespread poverty as well as climate changes, and have been doing that as my own contribution to the President's efforts of achieving peace and development. What actually has happened is, one, I think the peace process under the Duterte administration has so far been the most advanced relative to previous administration, I think, except for President Ramos' time, where several agreements were signed. Here, I think they have had several meetings already. And I'm happy to note that both panels have been working towards social and economic reforms, which we support wholeheartedly, especially land reform. Many of the Pantawid Pamilya beneficiaries are farmers themselves or who do not have land. I hope I have answered your question, Senator.
Well, Madam Secretary, I was hoping that you would let me off the hook and limit me to one question. But please forgive me for saying that your response, no, I don't mean this in a negative way, no, has generated more questions than answers. Because poverty alleviation, livelihood, no, the socio-economic reforms that are at the core of any serious peace negotiations begins with the termination of the armed conflict. Hindi tayo pwedeng maghanap buhay habang nagbabarilan, no? And which leads me to my second question. No? From where I sit, and for better or for worse, we chair the Committee on Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation. No, I have not conducted a single hearing because I was allowing, I was giving all the instrumentalities of government a chance to focus on the more important and urgent task at hand. I also happen, for better or for worse, to be chairman of the Committee on National Defense and Security. Okay. So I will go back to my question. While you are talking, I'm talking about government, or the peace negotiations. There have been attacks on police stations. No? The armed conflict has continued. And when the question was asked publicly why this is ongoing, the response was, we have no control. Okay? We have no control over those who are perpetrating this. Now, if there is no control, the next logical question is, why have you not condemned these attacks? Now, of course, you look at it from a different perspective. So if you have no control and you do not condemn, the next question is, why are we talking? Okay, I hope I'm communicating this properly. So I'm not burdening you with a categorical response to this question, but we cannot talk and fight at the same time.
Mr. Senator,
Yes, please.
I am the Secretary of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. I am not an NDF representative. I think that should be made clear. I was nominated, recommended by the National Democratic Front, but I am not NDF. So I cannot answer your questions, which you think I am part of the decision making. I am not. I was a professor at the University of the Philippines when I was appointed by the President. So I am not in the capacity to answer why are they still doing that. I think it is up to the National Democratic Front panel and the Philippine panel to answer your questions. I'm sorry I cannot answer it in my personal capacity or even in my official capacity as Secretary.
Madam Secretary, I perfectly understand that. That's why I premised my questions on your views, your insights. No, because the peace process is not the end. It's only the beginning. Kanina po, nung nagsasalita kayo, sabi ko, lagot, now I have agitated Secretary Judy Taguiwalo. Okay. Thank you.
I hope I won't be agitated at all today.
So I have asked those questions now in the proper context. Now let's bring it up to speed. No, okay. Could you please update this the commission, this committee, on the status and the condition of the Marawi evacuees? Because let me again explain. Terrorism. No? It may seem, Madam Secretary, that I'm focusing on variables that are not within your control. You are correct. No? You head a department that is responsible for social welfare and development. I'm not imposing that burden on you that you have control over the NDF. I'm not even implying that you are a member of the NDF. Okay? I'm not also implying that you are insulated from this. Okay. So, the status and the condition of the Marawi evacuees, because it is my view that terrorism did not begin and will not end in Marawi. The armed conflict did not begin and will not end in Mindanao. In fact, the prognosis is it will become bad. It will become worse before it becomes better. And that is precisely what we are trying to avert. And nobody said that the peace process will be easy, no? So that we can reasonably begin in a starting point and then proceed to your mandate, which is social and economic development, poverty alleviation. Okay. So, I go back to my question. Ano po ba ang status ngayon ng efforts natin sa Marawi evacuees?
Dalawang bagay lang, Senator. Last night, may meeting kami with the President and the representatives from Lanao del Sur. And the President was very clear about the roots of the problems in Mindanao. Terrorism is a offshoot of, sabi niya, the issue of land and the historical experience of Mindanao with colonialism, as far back as Spanish colonialism and American. So I think the President is very clear about the roots of the armed conflict in the country. And I'm happy to know that because I'm also a professor of history. Sa Marawi ho, mula May 23 ho, nag-start yung siege with the attack of the Maute. May 26 ho, nag-umpisa na tayo ng mga evacuation centers natin. Until now, we have 75 evacuation centers. No? Open ito out of the 135. Ang karamihan ho ay nasa Pantaw, Rabat. No. So meron ho tayo, we have a regular update ng Marawi. We can give you copies of it. But the other day, we already deactivated our response cluster to turn over to the new task force Bangon Marawi, headed by Secretary Lorenzana, the overall efforts at reconstruction and rehabilitation. But we have provided financial assistance for IDPs of, hindi ko na mabasa ito.
Madam Secretary.
370 million pesos. So I just want to tell you, we have been there since day 3, no? Kasi day 3 nagdatingan ang mga evacuation. We are still there, and I would like to again commend our workers in Field Office 10, in Field Office 12, and then the ARMM DSWD, the LGUs, and the CSOs and volunteers who have worked closely with government so that we can provide assistance to the IDPs. But the problem is far from being solved. They are still evacuees. They cannot go back to Marawi soon, but we are preparing for the transition, Mr. Senator.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Last two questions. No? First is, you mentioned that this is a forward-looking peace initiative on the part of the present dispensation, and the last one you mentioned was under President Ramos. No? I'm sure you have in your arsenal of historical data the initiatives of the late Heidi Yorak, the 6 paths to peace, which I think will be valuable as we look back from where we have been and how to move forward. No? So I just wanted to put that on record. Now, my last question is, with the things you mentioned that things you are doing in Marawi, is this indicative of institutionalizing this effort so that, you know, Madam Secretary, napansin ba ninyo na itong nangyari sa Marawi, if you look back to recent history, I was still wearing the uniform then, no? When Holo town was burned, and then Ipil, Zamboanga, and then Zamboanga City. Ang nagbago lang, yung petsa at saka yung mga personalidad. But almost the same situation. That's why it underscores the need for institutionalizing our efforts so that the places that are affected, whether it's natural or man-made calamities or terrorism, no, certain programs, long-term programs are set in motion, whoever is the DSWD Secretary or whoever is President of the Philippines. That's my last question.
I think while war has been a regular event in our country historically, iba ho itong Maute at Abu Sayyaf, no? Kasi walang rules of engagement, hindi sila nagfa-follow na international humanitarian law, which the other armed groups, including the NPA, the MNLF, the MILF, as far as I know, recognize. Kaya nga talagang malaki ang galit ni President sa terrorism as represented by Maute and Abu Sayyaf. Kasi walang pagpipigil, walang pag-distinguish between the armed combatants, between the combatants and the civilians. So yun ho siguro ang linawin natin. Ang sa iba hong mga armed groups, I think ang sabi ni President, may ideology sila. They have rules of engagement, rules of war. Pero siyempre, ganoon yung kwan. There are still ups and downs sa mga peace processes, sa mga peace talks. So I hope that is clear because we deal with the terrorist groups like the Maute, Abu Sayyaf in a different manner from those groups that have actually a program of government, have actually rules of engagement. So, hindi ko alam ang detalye. Huwag nyo na akong tanungin kasi wala ho akong arsenal kaugnay ng peace talks. May arsenal ho ako tungkol sa kasaysayan ng kababaihan at ng social welfare sa Pilipinas.
Well, Madam Secretary, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, forgive my limited vocabulary. No? Maybe it's my previous calling. No? But my point really is, terrorism, even terrorism, is driven by an idea. Okay? Whether there are rules of engagement or not, the fact is, life, liberty, and property have been put in jeopardy. Now, how do you fight an idea for terrorism, for a caliphate, for an Islamic state? With a better idea. You deliver on food, clothing, shelter, education, and health services to begin with. No? So that's what I was diving at. That's why I was asking for your important views on the peace process as a starting point that will pursue the trajectory of relief, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and then eventually poverty alleviation, and then delivery of basic services. But having said that, Madam Secretary, I would like to thank you for your patience. I think whatever happens this morning, we should continue this conversation. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, before the chair will recognize Senator Dillon, let me put on record the presence of Senator Manny Pacquiao. Senator Dillon now has the floor.
And also Senator Cynthia Villar.
No, she was mentioned earlier.
All right, just I will go to some specifics rather than the philosophical approach of my friend here. First, Madam Secretary, the flagship program of the DSWD in the past administration was the 4-Piece program. Is that was carried out in the past administration? Now, what is the budget for 2017 of the 4-Piece program, if may I ask?
It's actually 2/3 of the budget of the department. Our budget is 128 billion for 2017, if I remember correctly. Kailangan ko ng notes kapag ganito na sa mga figures.
Okay.
And the bulk
is
of that
it
goes
according to
for
Senator Lacson, it's 89.4 billion. Can you confirm that? Just not the exact amount, but is it in that vicinity?
Okay, the USEC in charge of Pantawid says yes.
Yes, all right. Now, this 89.4 billion benefits about 4.5 million families. Is that correct? That was the figure I recall.
4 million is the
4.4,
figure we
okay. I
use.
missed it by 100,000. 4.4 million. And the cost of administering this program is how much?
Okay. It's 7.7%.
I'm sorry?
7.7%.
7.7% or roughly 6 billion? Is that? 6 billion roughly, no? How much? 6 billion, all right. I am laying those premises because of the present budget proposal and also the proposed train, you know. The proposed tax reform program of this administration consists or includes a provision to allegedly cushion the effects of the increase in the excise tax on fuel, and this is a proposed direct cash transfer of 200 pesos per month for 1 year for 10 million families. The media carried reports of your reservations of this program. Your representative in the hearings on the tax reform program in the Senate did not have such freedom of expression or freedom of speech and was very reluctant to express the views of the DSWD on this cash transfer program. Again, I repeat, the cash transfer program is 200 pesos per month for 200 pesos per month for only for 1 year for 10 million families. And the cost of the alleged cost of administering this program is 1.2 billion. So first question, in your 2018 budget, is the 85 billion or 89 billion carried or not? Is it no more? What is the budget for? So what is the budget now for the 4-piece program in the 2018, proposed 2018 budget
So it's
of the
still
DSWD?
89.4 billion for 4.4 million beneficiaries. There's a separate budget item for the tax reform cash transfer program of 1.2 billion pesos. So separate allocation from the
Can you repeat that? 89 billion.
Yeah, that's a round off for the
round off.
4.4 million beneficiaries.
For the 4.4, the program that you
Yes.
inherited,
So-
and then there's a separate item for this for the tax reform program.
It's a separate allocation. We don't have the cash grant with us. It's supposed to be with the land bank. But DBM has allocated almost 1.2 billion for the administrative cost.
For the what about the cost of the program? If I recall it correctly, is it 24 billion?
We don't have the data because it is not in our budget. The budget that was included for 2018 is the tax reform cash transfer program for the administrative cost of the 200 peso per month for 1 year cash transfer program for 10 million poorest Filipino households.
So who will administer this program, Madam Secretary?
It is undergoing a discussion. We have submitted to the DOF that the department, if the law is passed, the department will be able to administer the cash transfer for the 4.4 million current Pantawid beneficiaries. So it's going to be a top-up. But the remaining 5.6 million, we will not be able to handle. Because even right now, the 4.4 million is already a heavy burden for our workers.
You do not have the capacity to implement the additional cash transfer involving 200 pesos per month for 10 million families. That's what you're saying.
We cannot handle the whole 10 million.
Okay.
But we can include it in the benefits to be given to the current 4-piece beneficiaries.
For the 4.4.
That's 4.4 million. So you only have now 5.6 million non-CCT households. I think discussions are still ongoing how this cash transfer will be made if it is not done by DSWD. So DOF is looking at a land bank, direct payout, PhilHealth. So it's an ongoing discussion.
So it's not even clear who will administer and distribute this additional 200.
I think it's clear with the Department of Finance, but because it is not our program per se, what is clear with us is we are supposed to have this 1.2 billion administrative budget.
If it is not clear with you, Madam, then the whole program will collapse because you are the ones, you have the expertise, you have the structure to implement it, and you're saying that it is not clear to you. So
I don't think so. Sorry, Your Honor. I think in the first place, The bill has not been passed yet. So the
No, the bill,
deliberations-
yes, the bill has not yet been passed, but
it's
it
not
will
yet
pass.
law.
Oh.
Yeah, so okay. So I think the deliberations are ongoing how to best implement this cash transfer. So I don't think it will fall because DSWD has reservations about it. I think
That's what I was going to drive at. You have reservations about this. Because this is very important.
Sir, okay. I have already registered my reservations,
Yes.
okay, and I think that has been registered to the House of Representatives, not for the whole tax reform package,
No.
because I think the income taxpayers will be receiving benefits in terms of lower tax payments, and we're happy for the teachers, for the other professionals. But we also registered the fact that the increase in excise tax will have deleterious effects on the poor because this is an indirect tax. In spite of that, the House of Representatives passed that bill. And we said we are professionals. The department is part of the administration. We are going to implement the law once it becomes a law signed by the President. For the implementation, I think it is but just that the implementation is discussed by several government agencies, not just us. DSWD is one, DOH is another, DOF is another, Land Bank is another. So the reservation is there. Again, I will say the reservation is there, but we are willing to implement it as best as we could once the bill becomes law.
All right. Do you have the capacity to implement it on 5.6 million families? Additional?
As of now, sir, no.
As of now, no. How many okay, what would you need in order to be able to implement this? How many people would you have to hire? And can you implement this in 1 year?
I think it is not only DSWD that can answer it. So the process of discussion now for the tax cash transfer administration, so far, no, we are coordinating with the ILG, PhilHealth, and Land Bank of the Philippines for the remaining 5.6 million. As of now, we said we're fine with the 4.4 million, no additional, very limited additional administrative costs. We don't need the whole 1.2 billion. You know, I think we need only, how much? 400 million. But what happens to the 5.6 million? We are still talking with the ILG, PhilHealth, and LB, the Land Bank, on the best means to transfer this.
Well, you know, the past administration has tried all means, including land bank, rural banks, including the, how do you call this, the pawn shops, all the possible avenues they have tapped in order to distribute it to 4.4 million families. Now you have an additional 5.6 million. And only for 1 year. That's why I seriously doubt the capacity of the administration to be able to implement this. So it's just good in, you know, when you see it in the budget, but whether or not it can actually be implemented is something that is very doubtful. And today, without your expressly saying so, it confirms our fear. But you're saying that for the 5.6 million, if you are going to implement it, you need an administrative cost of additional cost of how much? 400.
For the additional 200 pesos cash transfer to the current 4.4 million, we need only 400 million additional
for the current
administrative
4.4.
Yes. But for the 5.6, we said we are still having discussions with DOF, DILG, and Land Bank on how best to transfer this given our administrative limitation. Okay? Already we have, it is a challenge. Right now, I hope the different government agencies can come together so that a relief can be given to the poor given the increases in indirect taxes if the bill becomes law. So we start with that, Mr. Senator, but I'm not saying it cannot be done. It will be difficult, it will be an administrative challenge, but it is not a challenge to our department alone.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm through with my questions. Thank you very much.
Before,
Mr. Chairman.
before we proceed, the chair would like to recognize the presence of Senator Ralph Recto. Senator Ping Lacson has the
I
floor.
have one very quick question for the Secretary. There's a proposed 2 billion peso appropriations under the 2018 national budget. No? The primary purpose of which is to facilitate the distribution of monies under the CCT program. My question is, do you think it will make life easier for you and the DSWD as well as the beneficiaries, or not? Why or why not?
Sir, it's 1.184 billion pesos for the
I just saw the budget books. It's 2 billion pesos actually.
already. Okay.
2 billion.
So thank you for the correction. Life has never been easy with DSWD. We are working with a budget of almost 130 billion for 2017. We only have 3,000 regular workers. The rest are MOA and contractual. So we have this responsibility to download monies to disadvantaged and marginalized groups, to the Pantawid, to the SOCPEN, our elderly, the supplementary feeding program. There are 3 modalities for us to do that. One is through the land bank, cash cards as well as over-the-counter. The Pantawid, we don't hold the money. It goes to the land bank. The other is through the LGUs for the social pension for the senior citizens and the supplementary feeding program. And the other, especially during disaster, is through our own workers, our special disbursing officers. With that huge amount of money, we have a lot of backlog from the land bank. I think you've seen the COA report about their inability to download the money to the beneficiaries. We have been talking to them. For the LGUs, there is 15.6 billion pesos unliquidated monies the DSWD has downloaded to them since 2011. I have talked to the DILG for help so that we can find out how this money can be liquidated. And the COA guideline is you cannot download money to the LGU if they have not liquidated previous disbursement. So again, that's the problem. How can we download the supplementary feeding program for 2017 if they have not liquidated the 2015? So the other one, why don't you pay out yourself? We only have around 650 special
Madam
disbursing
Secretary,
officers. Sorry.
With due respect, my question is very simple. The national ID system, would it make life easier for you and the DSWD as well as the beneficiary of the CCT program? If so, why? If not, why not? Or first, I'll rephrase my question. Are you in favor of the national ID system?
Aha.
It's
I
a simple
haven't
question. It's a valid
started,
question because kaya po nilagyan ng 2 billion pesos under the proposed national budget. Nakalagay doon para mapadali ang distribution ng pera sa mga CCT beneficiaries. So kayo talaga yung makikinabang para sa inyo yung 2 billion, assuming that the congressmen and the senators do not realign the 2 billion. Okay. So it stays as an appropriations for the establishment of the national ID system. So my question is very simple. Are you in favor? Kaya rephrase ko na lang. Are you in favor of the national ID system?
Mr. Senator, I have to study it further. I don't have an idea that we have a 2 billion pesos allocation in our budget for this, okay? What I was answering your question, what is making life difficult for DSWD in terms of its implementation of the program? I think identification is just one part of it. Mr. Senator, what I'm telling is there are 3 factors affecting our ability to disburse money.
With all due respect, Madam Secretary, my question is quite simple. Are you in favor of the national ID system or not? If only for the purpose of facilitating the distribution of benefits of monies, no, to the
If
beneficiaries.
it is for the purpose of facilitating distribution of money to the poor, facilitating closing avenues of corruption, then I'll be in favor of it. But if it is used for other purposes, I think I will need to discuss it further.
Well, when the national ID system is in place, hindi lang po magagamit yun sa distribution. Talaga magagamit din yun sa ibang purposes.
Pero ako doon. Sa ang tanong nyo kasi, agree ko ba para ma-facilitate ang parang,
Hindi,
of course.
Hindi po ganun ang sinabi ko.
Anything that will facilitate the services to the poor at diretso sa kanila, agree ho tayo dyan.
Ang sinabi ko po, yun ang nakalagay sa budget book, do sa proposed budget, na kaya mayroong 2 billion. Kanina, nasa DBCC po kami, binanggit uli ni Secretary Jokno sa kanyang briefing, no, na talagang popondohan nila yung national ID system. Gusto ko ang tanongin siya, anong legal cover niyan? Bakit nyo pinopondohan ng 2 billion pesos? Wala pa naman na ipapasa na national ID system. In fact, sa Senate, hindi pa po ito nakakarating sa committee. Wala pang hearing. But, you know, there's already a proposed appropriations for the national ID system. And in case maipasa ng Kongreso ito, ang tanong ko sa inyo, ganun po kasimple, kung kayo po ba pabor, hindi nyo po mapipigilan na magamit ito sa ibang bagay bukod doon sa pag-facilitate ng distribution ng pera. Hindi po pwedeng doon lang nakalimit kasi pag may national ID system na tayo, siyempre, kasama na yung sa security, kasama na po lahat yon. Pati yung pagbabayad ng buwis, napakarami po. Kung ako tatanungin, agad-agad sasabihin ko, pabor ako dahil mas maraming makokolektang buwis ang gobyerno kapag merong national ID system. Mas madaling mag-solve ng krimen kapag may national ID system. Marami pong advantages. At isa sa mga advantages nga, yung pag-determine sino ba talaga yung below poverty line na dapat maging beneficiary. Kasi ngayon po may mga issues sa DSWD and hindi naman ito ma-attribute sa inyo kasi kilala namin kayo makahirap. Meron din nakakalusot na talaga hindi qualified, nabibigyan because of so much human intervention and so many other factors. But kung merong national ID, madali nating malaman, talaga bang itong si Juan Drilon, ito ba talagang nararapat na tumanggap ng benepisyo galing sa CCT? So, in that regard, talaga makakatulong, pero hindi nyo po pwedeng sabihin, dito lamang gamitin yung national ID kapag ito'y nasa batas na. So, on a general, no, yun ang tanong ko sa inyo, hindi lamang po pwedeng specify ninyo na kung para lang sa pag-distribute, payag kayo, pero sa ibang bagay hindi kayo payag. Kailangan yung the whole package, i-appreciate nyo. Your thoughts, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Senator. Kung ipasa ho siya na batas, siyempre bilang departamento, ipapatupad ho namin yan. At wala ho tayong problema doon sa aspeto na makakatulong ito sa pag-facilitate ng serbisyo para sa mamamayan, mag-cut ng red tape, maalis yung inclusion-exclusion problems natin. Ang gusto lang ho natin tiyakin na hindi ho ito magagamit na labag ho sa privacy ng ibang mga individuals, paano ma-safeguard yung mga information na dapat ang nakakaalam ay mga kailangan lamang. So yun lang naman yung reservation namin. But once it becomes law, again, the department is expected to implement it.
Tama po. Hindi po kayo mag-implement ng national ID. Philippine Statistics Authority po, doon ibibigay yung pondo. Kaya siguro hindi kayo pamilyar na 2 billion kasi wala po sa inyo yung pondo. Ang sinabi lang doon na kaya magkakaroon ng national ID system para matulungan niyang mapacilitate yung trabaho ninyo. So, alam nyo, biometrics lang yun. Hindi naman lalagay doon yung ating bank accounts. Ang maganda po sa national ID, hindi na pwedeng gumamit ng alias. Talagang pagka national ID, pag yan ang pangalan mo, yan ang pangalan mo. Kaya po malaking tulong ito sa pagsugpo ng kriminalidad. Kaya, anyway po, maraming salamat sa inyong tugon.
Salamat din ho sa paglilinaw kung saan yung 2 billion na yun. Nag-aalala na ako, baka sa amin, hindi ko alam.
We now recognize Senator Manny Pacquiao, and then Senator Cynthia Villar, and then Senator Ralph Recto. But excuse me, with the indulgence of Senator Pacquiao, the chair would like to recognize the presence of the late presence of Senator Bing Subiri.
I'm still alive, Your Honor. Sorry for our lateness today's hearing. Being late, rather, today's hearing. We have a DBCC hearing, which is quite equally important as well on the budget. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Pacquiao may now proceed.
Buti lang, hindi ako late. Madam Secretary, first, magandang tanghali sa iyo at sa ating lahat dito. Of course, I commend your hard work in DSWD. Napakasipag niyo po para sa programa para sa mga mahirap na tao. Alam niyo po, dumaan ako sa buhay na yung pinakamahirap, yung sadsad talaga. Dumaan ako niyan, naranasan ko yan yung walang pagkain. Ano po ang programa natin para sa kanila na magkaroon sila ng sustainable livelihood?
Mayong ugto, ay mayong aga, Senator Manny Pacquiao. Meron ho tayong Sustainable Livelihood Program. Isa lang yan, nagbibigay ito ng oportunidad sa mga kababayan natin na magkaroon ng tulong sa micro-enterprises nila at also sa pagkaroon ng employment facilitation. Pero maliit lang ho ito na bahagi. Kung sa 2018 budget natin, mga 350,000 households lang ito, ikumpara sa 4.4 million na households sa Pantawid. Pero bukod dito ho, na sinisikap namin ngayon na makipagtulungan sa DOLE, sa DTI, sa TESDA, para magkaroon pa ho ng mga paraan na mapaunlad natin yung kanya-kanyang programa sa livelihood. Kasi halos lahat kami may programa sa livelihood eh. No, so yung tinatawag, paano tayo magtulungan dito para mapaunlad nga ito. Pero definitely ho, sinabi na yan ni President Duterte sa unang SONA niya. Ang gusto niya na direksyon ng department ay makatayo sa sariling paa ang ating mamamayan. Pero habang ginagawa niyan, titiyakin niya na hindi nagugutom, kaya meron siyang dagdag na bigas para doon sa Pantawid pamilya natin.
Yun nga po na ito pong naibigay nating sustainable livelihood para sa mga pamilya na wala talaga. Na-supervise po ba natin to na nakita po ba natin yung pagbabago o baka panandalian lang yung income nila or hindi nila na-manage ng mabuti yung yung business nila?
May limitation ho ito. May mga success stories tayo katulad sa Caraga. Ang kanilang mga may sustainable livelihood associations tayo na sa agricultural production sa usapin ng crabs, sa usapin ng mga food processing. Pero meron din ho tayong employment facilitation like sa security guards, Meron tayong ganitong training para sa security guards. So, matatapos ang programa nila, magtatrabaho sila bilang security guards, pero endo rin ho, 5 months, 6 months, wala na namang trabaho. So, may binibigyan natin ng skills, binibigyan natin ng starter kit, pero yung capacity ng ekonomiya natin na absorb sila o na, sa matagalan, may limitasyon ho. Kaya hindi ho talaga natin masabi na 100% success. Meron hong tagumpay, meron din hong hindi.
Salamat po. of course, hindi naman po mapagkailan na kahit na kayo ay sekretary ng DSWD, hindi maitatago yung connection natin doon sa mga kaliwa, yung mga tao na yan. Wala po ba tayong ginawang did you initiate to help this problem na yung mga ang ating Pangulo kasi nakita naman natin kung ano yung puso ng Pangulo para sa mahirap. Nakita natin kung ano yung advocacy niya para sa mahirap. Nakita natin na advocacy ng Pangulo sugpuin ang lahat ng krimen o lahat ng mga problema dito sa ating bansa. Ngayon, wala po ba tayong may ambag na ma-suggest o ma-advise sa kanila na hindi sila mag-rally-rally dyan, attacking the president? Ang ating presidente, hindi naman Superman. No? Kung ang presidente natin ay Superman, isang araw lang yung mga problema, lahat, solve lahat. Pero hindi, kumbaga, ganito nang paulit-ulit, nakita naman natin yung siguro, madama natin, makita natin yung puso ng Pangulo. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin dito is, wala na bang hanggan itong yung mga paglalakad natin diyan sa kalsada kahit na ang ating leader ang puso ay para sa mga mahirap. Kumbaga, dapat maintindihan nila na ang Pangulo hindi naman Superman para isolve lahat ng. Kaya nga nandiyan kayo sa DSWD, nandoon si Mariano sa DAR at yung iba pa para makatulong kung ano man yung mga problema para maramdaman natin, no? Maramdaman natin yung nanggaling sa hirap, maramdaman natin yung problema doon na hindi one day o 1 week o 1 month o 1 year na ma-solve yung problema. Which is, ang ginagawa ng Pangulo ngayon is to solve step by step yung mga problema dito sa ating bansa. Wala po ba tayong ginawang action po diyan?
Dalawa yun, Senator Pacquiao. Gusto lang sabihin, nirarally din ho ako. Nakatanggap na rin ako ng placard na DSWD manhid. Nagrarally din sa labas. Kasi yung problema nga ho pang matagalan. And while ang pagtingin kong pinakamaganda dyan na kwan ay maibigay ngang serbisyo na kailangan nila. Sa proseso, hindi natin kaagad-agad na naabot lahat, no? Bakit? Kasi yung iba nasa malalayong lugar. So I think part talaga, and I take it with a grain of salt, natatawa nga ako. Sabi ko dati ako ang nagrarally, ngayon ako nang nirarally. Pero that's part of the democratic process, Senator Pacquiao. Kung valid ho yung kanilang grievances, yun ho ang binibigay natin. Kung ano ang kaya, kung hindi naman ho, nililinaw natin na hindi na ho kami dito. So I think we have to understand that kung magrarally ho, hindi ibig sabihin ay kontra gobyerno na katulad sa kwan, kundi may hinihiling ho silang serbisyo o may hinaing sila na kailangan natin tugunan. Ganon ho yung attitude ko so far, no? Kaya
Naintindihan ko po yun. Naintindihan ko rin yung mga tao. We have the freedom of expression. Yun nga, sa Constitution natin, walang no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech or expression or of the press or of the people to assemble peaceably against the redress of grievances against the government. So, meaning, ang ibig kong sabihin, wala po ba tayong ginawa na kausapin lang sila na intindihin nyo naman sana na intindihin nyo naman. Especially this, yung tanong ni Senator Lacson kanina, yung national ID, tingin ko makakatulong po ito ng malaki sa ating bansa. Especially yung sa mga mahihirap natin ma-identify kaagad kung sino yung mga tao na naghihirap, sino yung mga tao na nangangailangan ng tulong. Kung malaki pong tulong yung, sa tingin ko, yung national ID.
Senator, ang trabaho ko kasi bilang sekretary, yun nung sinasadibdib ko. Ang paniniwala ko, kung masunod ko yung sabi ni President, na ibigay yung serbisyo, walang katiwalian, di ba? Patas na pagtrato mo. sa mga tao, I think yun ang best way na matulungan ko siya, no, na ma-address itong kahirapan. Pero hindi ako part ng parang negotiation team niya. I think even, so, halimbawa ho, yung sa usapin ng gratuity pay para sa sa mga contractual workers natin at the end of the year last year, in effort talaga natin at hirap siya talaga mag-decide doon kasi hindi pa yan nagawa. So, we presented it to him, tapos Solomonic yung kanyang decision doon because we were actually asking for 10,000 na gratuity pay, tapos may mga reservation yung economic managers. And he made the decision na may 2,000 pesos na ibigay, and it is for, and that benefit was given for the first time sa history ho ng mga contractual natin. Yun ho isa kong gawain. Ipaabot sa kanya ang hinaing ng mga tao at ma-actionan niya batay sa kakayahan ng administrasyon. I'm happy to say, totoo yan sa SSS. Nagbigay siya kahit limitado nga. Totoo yan sa year-end na gratuity pay sa MOA natin. At ito nga yung pagperma niya ng libreng tuition sa universities and colleges. I think these are the policies and programs that will make people understand talaga that the President is doing his best to address yung kahirapan, no, sa ating bayan, among others.
Tama po yan. Maraming salamat, Madam Secretary. May next question is, I've been to Marawi. Nagpunta po ako ng Marawi last 3 weeks ago. Talagang walang katao-tao. Ang tao lang doon, mga army at saka yung mga Mauti group. Talagang yung mga kasama ko natatakot dahil narinig namin, akala mo New Year doon sa Marawi pag nandoon ka. Tiningnan ko, napakalaki ng problema doon. Ano pong plano ninyo sa inyong ahensya para pag natapos itong ano na to, anong initiative na gagawin ninyo for this problem na mandaming talagang kailangan gawin sa city ng Marawi?
Buong gobyerno naman nung inatasan ni President Tito by creating the task force Bangon Marawi, headed by Department of Defense Secretary Lorenzana. Nag-meet na ho ang mga iba't ibang subcommittee. So we have CABSEC June doon sa housing. Umpisahan na yung transition, hindi na tense. Housing na ito, kapag pumasok na yung materials, in 2 days kaya na i-set up ito. Kami naman ho, tapos ang DOH, kailangan yung mga tents sa hospital. So it's again all government efforts. Kami ho, meron akong naumpisa na cash for work. Ito yung 200 pesos a day for 10 days para sa IDPs natin kasi humingi na talaga sila ng trabaho. Magti 3 months na rin na bakwit sila. At natutuwa naman katulong siya natin ngayon sa pag-repair, pag-reconstruct ng mga community infrastructures, communal gardening, clearing of debris. Naumpisahan na natin ito sa, nagbigay na tayo sa ARMM, tapos doon din sa Region 10. So yun ang hatian namin. Early recovery ho kami, patuloy pa rin ho yung food packs natin kung kailangan. Yung camp management ho kami pa rin katulong yung mga local government units at ito ho yung cash for work program ho. Pero yung housing ngayon, shelter, doon na ho yan kay CABSEC June. Ang sa livelihood ay sa DTI. At ang vice chair ho ng committee ang DPWH kasi malaking papel ho ng DPWH sa reconstruction. So this is upon the instruction of the President and that has met already. No? At palakasin pa ho natin yan dahil gusto ho natin maibsan na talaga ang kahirapan na dinadanas ng mga IDPs natin doon.
Sino nga po yung chairman nung
Secretary Lorenzana as chair, DND. The vice chair is DPWH Secretary Mark Villar. The secretariat is headed by Yusek Yano. Tapos may subcommittee on livelihood, DTI, Subcommittee on Health and Welfare, kami yan ni Secretary Obial, Subcommittee on Housing, tapos magsiset up ho ng Subcommittee on Resource Mobilization, kasama hong DFA, DOF dyan. Nag-umpisa pala hong immediate na inayos natin ngayon ay yung malipat sila, no? Habang hindi yan, yung isang effort to natin para ma-decongest, miniting natin ang mga mayors ng ibang bayan kung pwede mag-adapt sila ng IDPs para hindi na lang sa iligan. So may ganoon na tayo ngayon na ginagawa.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Pacquiao. We now recognize Senator Villar.
Secretary Taguiwalo, I just want to hear your thoughts about the model of our conditional cash transfer, considering that in other countries, they have different models. Like, for example, in Thailand, they don't give money. The government required that 6 million children drink milk every day, and the 200 ml of milk every day that the government pays for, and thereby causing a boom in the dairy industry. And then in Brazil, they required farmers to plant crops, which the government buys and give to the poor people. So ang kanilang model is providing food for the people, poor people, and at the same time creating livelihood for the rest of the population. But ours is different. We give cash. So what are your thoughts on this?
Maraming salamat, Senator Villar. I think we agree sa House Committee hearing last Wednesday. Several representatives have asked me, kailan ba tayo na salip na bigyan sila ng isda, turuan sila mangisda, di ba? And I think that's the philosophy behind the programs of the other countries. And I think we should adopt that. How to do the transitioning.
Secretary Taguiwalo, it's not only teaching them. We're giving livelihood to other people, but not giving them cash but food. Because sometimes they don't spend the cash for food, and the food is very important to them. That's another aspect of it.
Thank you. I think the department has to talk to you and other representatives who would like to help us craft a better program for our poor outside of the Pantawid program. So not cash transfer per se, but food transfer, and more importantly, livelihood. Magkakaisa ho tayo dyan, Senator Villar. But when I became secretary, the program was there already. So we are still in the process of assessing and evaluating it. But definitely the direction is towards what you mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Taguiwalo.
The chair will now recognize Senator Ralph Recto.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I note that after reading the document submitted to us by the Commission, that the Secretary has very impressive credentials. She actually has a PhD and she's a magna cum laude. She taught in UP. Cum laude. And she has fought for the poor her whole life. Kaya tugman-tugma that she is in the DSWD as far as I'm concerned, and that I look at her as a modern-day Gabriela Silang, Tandang Sora, and if my wife were to be asked, she would tell me that she is an epitome of a real-life Sister Stella L as well. Now, having said that, Mr. Chairman, I just want to find out just one question, basically. And I don't want to put her in trouble with this question. So maybe in her, as a person and as an academe, I'm sure that the Secretary is aware of the tax reform program of the Secretary of Finance. And I'd like to find out from her if her position is that ito bang mga sinasabing dagdag na petroleum tax, sugar tax, tax on socialized housing at iba pa ay makakatulong sa mahihirap.
Okay. Again,
Sa pagsusuri ninyo. Opo.
pinaabot ko na ho yan sa mga committee hearing at napuna na nga ako at sinabi, ay, priority bill ito ni President, why are you presenting an opposing view? Ang sabi ko naman, nasa process pa ho tayo ng deliberations and my portfolio is really a portfolio related to the poor and we have asked them, anong mangyayari? No? Karamihan dito sa mahirap walang income tax kasi wala silang regular na income, so they won't benefit from the tax reform component. Ngayon doon sa additional na excise tax, matatamaan sila kasi sumasakay sila, bumibili sila. So yun ang pinaabot natin na may epekto ito sa mahihirap. At kaya ba yan solusyonan ng 200 pesos cash transfer? So we'd registered it. But we also told the House of Representatives, in spite of our reservation...
Yun po yung pangalawang tanong ko eh. Yung 200 pesos ba, sapat ba yun?
At again, di ba, sinabi na ni Senator Cynthia Villar, we should be doing away with cash transfer. Ang sabi niya nga, sa akin na yung direksyon, food transfer livelihood. So, kung orientational ho, malinaw yun sa akin. Kung sapat yan, siyempre hindi yan sapat. No? Kung 200 pesos a month, magdagdag ang hindi ho sapat yan. At alam, pero ang sinasabi, kapag pumasa ho yung batas, DSWD kami, ipapatupad ho namin yan.
Tama. So thank you for your response. So sa madaling salita, sa ngayon, during the deliberations, nakikita ninyo na hindi siya makakatulong. They will bear the brunt na dapat naman tulungan ng pamahalaan at sa tingin ninyo hindi sapat yung nakapaloob doon na earmarking na mga halaga.
Definitely ho.
Definitely. So thank you very much, Madam
Pero
Secretary.
kami ho, execution,
Gagawin
implementation,
ninyo pag kailangan.
namin kapag pinasa nyo na
Pag naipasa na.
at pinirmahan ni President.
Thank you very much, Secretary. I have no further questions. But just to say that I support the confirmation of the nominee. Thank you.
Next to propound his question is Senator Mig Zubiri.
Actually, it's not a question, Your Honor. I second the move or the manifestation of Senator Recto that the Secretary has my full support as well. That's all I want to say, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat,
Sino pa?
Senator.
The chair, Madam Secretary, has a question on with regards to 4Ps, no? Vis-a-vis the Republic Act 10931 or the Free Tuition Act, how much is the budget in the 4Ps for scholarship?
The 4Ps is only for elementary to high school students. Ang budget for scholarship sa college students sa Pantawid na sa CHED-ho, Mr. Chair. So we don't have that money.
Yes. So, walang pwedeng makuha doon na makatulong doon sa Republic Act. Because that was also mentioned in the hearings at the House.
Ang 4Ps, wala akong budget doon para sa college. So, ang 4Ps talaga, supposedly naka-allocate siya sa 4.4 million para sa kanilang health benefits, tapos assistance sa children na nasa elementary tsaka high school, tapos sa RISE.
Okay.
Kung pang-college, sana paano natin? Magtulungan, kausapin kung finance namin, kung meron nung pwede na maiambag natin sa free tuition, because it will also make our life easier. Para yung pila ho, may pila ho doon sa educational assistance sa amin no? Na ngayon mag-umpisa sa September para sa college students, pero konti lang yan. Magkano lang? No, so, pwede ho, kung tingin ng Congress na makakatulong ho para ma-implement natin yung free tuition, pagtulungan ho natin na mapadali yung pagpapatupad natin nito.
Thank you. Congressman Halosos
Yes,
is
Mr. Chair,
recognized.
if there's no objections, I'd like to request for, or I would like to move for an executive session.
Wala na bang question?
Sandali, Mr. Chair. Meron lang akong isang...
Before the chair will rule on the motion of Congressman Halosos, the chair would like to recognize first Congressman Salimbangon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maayong hapon, Madam Secretary. I just want to know, Madam Secretary, about your budget for the hospitalization program, no, for hospitals and medicines. Do you still have it? How much budget are you allocating? Because I was told that you cut the release of this very important assistance.
Hindi ho. Dalawa ho yung sa medical assistance natin. Yung isa, medicine assistance, galing mismo sa pondo ng President Social Action Fund na 1 billion pesos na spread out ho natin ngayon na pilot sa 6 na syudad, including Cebu City. Ito yung libreng gamot para sa masa or lingap sa masa. So ito ho yung allocation dito. UPPGH, 473 million pesos. Region 3 na Sauce Bilingad Memorial Hospital, may 108 million pesos. Sa Region 6, West Visayas Medical Center, 138 million pesos. Sa Region 7 ho, sa Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center, meron hong 131 million pesos doon. At sa Mindanao ho, Region 11, Southern Philippines Medical Center, Davao Regional Hospital, may 150 million pesos. So,
how about the hospitalization, the assistance for hospitals?
Ang hospitalization, kabahagi o siya ng ating CIU, Crisis Intervention Unit. Meron ho tayong 4 na programa doon at part of that is medical assistance.
Yeah.
Usually ho guarantee letter ho ito, hindi tayo nagbibigay ng pera.
But did you stop it?
No, we didn't stop it.
No, but I was told that you do not have funds anymore.
No, sir.
That's why I want to clarify this.
No, we haven't stopped it. May inaayos lang ho tayo ngayon kasi we have to tell you, several of our finance staff have been dismissed because of PDAF-related cases. Halos attrition ho kami ngayon because the PDAP cases which happened in 2007, 2009, tapos nagkaroon ng special audit in 2013, 2014, naglabasan na hong mga decisions, administrative cases na immediately executory. So actually ho, halos bago ng finance namin. So kung may delay ho kami ngayon sa financial transactions, it's partly because may attrition ho
so
sa
delay,
aming finance.
Delay lang,
madam. Delay lang.
Hindi nakat.
Hindi nakat. Basta kailangan ho ng mamamayan.
Yeah, yun nga ang ano ko kasi.
We will be,
I understand.
basta meron ho tayong guidelines, ayusin lang ho natin yung pag-download.
There is another problem, Madam Secretary, no? We have our district hospitals. But the problem in district hospitals is that we do not have doctors. So, all these poor patients, no, constituents natin, will have to go to the private doctors. The problem now arises in the area is that hindi kasama sa libre yung private doctors. So they have to now pay the private doctors. Can we, the professional fee, can we not extend assistance to these people, Madam Secretary?
We can look into that, Your Honor. We'll also work with Secretary of Bial because, you know, the President's priority of making health services accessible to all.
That's why, yun nga ang sabi ng mga tao that the President, of course, has already made a series of announcements regarding this, but yet, down the countryside, especially in district hospitals, now they are having problems on where to buy, where to pay the professional fee of the doctors, the private doctors. That's why I'm asking if this can be included in your program so that yung kawawang mga pobre na nandoon sa ano will be given this assistance, Madam Secretary.
Sige ho, pag-aralan ho natin at makipag-coordinate din ho ako sa DOH para mapabilis ito. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Halosos?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
May I just...
Well, considering that there might
Let's
be...
recognize first Congressman Halosos and then I'll...
Yes, considering that there might be items still to be deliberated on, I'd like to withdraw my previous motion.
Okay. So the motion has been withdrawn. Congressman Treñas,
Just one follow-up.
in connection with the
In connection
questions
with,
of Congressman Salimbangon.
Question of Congressman Salimbangon. If, Madam Secretary, if you are open to absorb also, if not all, a portion of the professional fees for the doctors, for our people who cannot afford medical assistance, can you please assign the person who will talk to Congressman Salimbangon so that Congressman Salimbangon can already start talking to this person? Because insofar as my district is concerned, that is also a very pressing issue. If we provide medical assistance, but we do not provide for the professional fees, then we cannot. What is the use of the medical assistance that we are giving if there is no professional fees for the doctor? If there is the person that Congressman Salimbangon can talk to, then please assign him so that right immediately or during this hearing, Congressman Salimbangon can talk to him right away.
We have
Thank you, but-
we have a regional director for Region 7 here. I think makapag-usap sila. Right na ho, sa guidelines, wala ho talaga tayong budget for professional fees. Medicines, hospitalization, meron ho. Ngayon nga ho, gusto natin ma-expand para ma-include sana ng prosthetics, assistive devices, laboratory procedures. So,
Mr.
ongoing
Chairman.
pa ho yung efforts natin dito.
May
Sorry.
I just go back to that? No? Only one person, Madam Secretary, maybe one of your USECs there will be in charge of that, no? So that whatever problems, it can be traced out. Not a regional director, because the regional director is only for the region of Congressman Salimbangon. But if we have a decision that will cover all the regions, then we immediately have a solution to the problem.
Right now, I don't have a clear idea of what we want to achieve. But if it is for facilitating assistance to the poor in the fastest possible means, and if these are not yet included in the guidelines now, we can make the changes. But again, I would like to state to the committee that we need to come up with guidelines so that you will be our people will be protected, we will be guided in the best way to use the money, and we can avoid what is happening now to many of our senior officials. So we shall sit down and talk about it in more details.
Okay. We now recognize Congresswoman Sandy Ocampo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yung sa akin, Madam Secretary, kasi kanina nagkaroon kayo ng pagkakataon banggitin na isa sa mga kagalingan nyo ay ang pag-uunawa ng pagiging social welfare officer or secretary. Ang punto ko ay sa panahon na kayo'y na-appoint sa pwesto na yan at nakita nyo po yung daloy ng pondo at yung mga taong nararating ng 4Ps at saka yung cash transfer program natin, sa halagang 1,400 sa buwan, alam naman natin walang masyadong mapupuntahan yan. Tama yung sinabi ni Senator Villar na mas maiging hindi perang ibigay kung hindi pagkain dahil yun ang talagang purpose natin dun sa 4Ps eh. Huwag maging dahilan ng kagutuman para ang mga anak ay hindi pumasok ng eskwelahan, di po ba? Na bigyan natin ng dagdag na pagkain ng mga mahihirap para maging mas malusog. Yung experience ko po at sa mga reports sa committee, sa Kongreso, ay talagang ang mga ATM nila minsan hindi na po silang nagkumukuha ng pera. Ang point ko, hanggang kailan natin gagawin ito? Wala ba kayong alternatibo sa programa na ito? Kung 1,400 lang ang tinatanggap ng pamilya, saan nga naman po mapupunta yan? Paano natin talagang maiangat ang kalagayan ng mahihirap? Ano ngayon ang nakikita nyong alternatibong programa na dapat isulong ng gobyerno natin na magiging kapalit sa programang cash transfer?
Maraming salamat ulit din sa pag-echo ng malimit na pinapaabot sa akin ng ibang mga kongresista. That the Pantawid program per se has done its time. We have to come up with a new program that will really address the needs of the poor. No? Ito yung kailangan pa naming ayusin ngayon kasi may 4 point. Ang ginagawa namin ngayon, inaaral namin sa 4.4 million ba yan, ilan na talaga ang nakagraduate. Kasi hanggang ngayon walang nagre-report nag-graduate sila eh. No? Napaka-limited ng kwan, pero meron na tayong nare-receive. At paano sila nakagraduate? Anong negosyo nila? So we want to learn lessons from that also, from our own experience of families who have successfully crossed the poverty line, partly because they receive cash assistance, but more so because they have other means of livelihood. Ito yung isa-start natin siguro na aralin yung experience ng Thailand na sinasabi ni Senator Villar, combining livelihood and employment programs, not with cash transfer, but with food transfer. Yun ho. Pero kung paano ito, we will be ready for it for next year ho. Kasama yung iba nating mga kasamahan sa department. But thank you, Representative, for bringing that up because it's an important point in terms of where development should go.
Secretary Taguiwalo, ba't hindi natin i-trial yan do sa rice? Kasi they're supposed to be given 21 kilos of rice. Why not give them 21 kilos of rice? Para matulungan din natin yung mga rice farmer natin na may market sila. Miski 18 kilos, kung bilhin natin sa rice farmer natin, tapos pamigay ninyo sa kanila, kaysa bigyan nyo ng pera na baka hindi naman ipambili na rice.
Okay, we're hearing you.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's still my time. But anyway, kanina pinag-uusapan natin, kailangan natin dagdagan yung mga taong i-hire ng DSWD para dagdagan ipamahagi yung tig 200 pesos supposedly from the tax reform program. So parang kung dadagdagan pa natin sila mag-distribute ng 18 kilos ng rice, parang napakahirap magtrabaho sa DSWD. But my point is, that point is correct. Precisely. Yung perang 1,400, paano mo iangat ang tao sa kahirapan? Buwan-buwan. Tapos kung titingnan mo yung balanse ng budget nyo, napakaliit ang nakalaan doon para sa capital assistance. Samantalang yan ang tunay na makakaangat sa buhay ng mahirap kung meron silang access sa kapital, di po ba? Dahil yung pondong nakalaan sa DTI, wala naman po silang network. Kaya yung pinakamay malawak na network ay DSWD. At hindi rin ako naniniwala sa inyo na kaya nyong ilunsad yung alternatibong programa next year kasi masyadong marami kayong gagawin itong taon sa kailangan yung pondong iparating sa mahirap sa pamamagitan ng 4-piece program, itong 200 subsidy, plus yung dagdag na rice subsidy. And sabi nga ninyo sa Committee on Appropriation hearing na marami kayong mga regional directors at USEC na bago na ngayon, di po ba? So ibig sabihin, learning curve din po yung mga taong bagong kasama nyo. Pero yung pangangailangan ng alternatibong programa ay hindi pangako next year kung hindi talagang dapat bigyan nyo ng masinsinang pag-aaral at humingi kayo ng tulong hindi lang sa mga kasama nyo, kung hindi sa mas magagaling pang tao na meron pong experience at talagang masasabi nating kakayahan, no? Dahil talagang nakasalaylay yung napakaraming pamilya, tsaka yung pondo ng gobyerno nakalaan dyan na dapat sana'y nakakatulong sa siguro mas maayos sa programa na mas meaningful pa ang pagbabago. Salamat, Mr. Chairman.
In relation, because, okay, Congresswoman Sato is recognized.
Just in relation to what Congresswoman Sandy and Senator Villar said, yun pong programa kasi is pantawid. Hindi po ito permanenteng programa para sa mahihirap. Exactly na talagang itatawid mo lang, papamula sa kahirapan, itataas mo lang ang antas ng kanilang kabuhayan. When I was a governor po, ay lagi po namin with other governors and local government executives, ang amin pong pinapakiusap sa DSWD dahil ang pagpapaghahanda sa mga beneficiaries para maiangat ang antas ng kanilang pamumuhay ay ang pagbibigay ng isang matagumpay na livelihood project sa kanila. Pero dun po sa ating programa ngayon, the livelihood projects are being given to the beneficiaries only when they are about to graduate from the program. Our stand is that you should start them earlier. At the middle of the program, you should already start them having their own livelihood so that by the time they graduate from the program, handa na po sila talagang tumawid at kumawala doon sa programa natin. Yun lang po ang gusto namin, na mapatibay ang livelihood, and it should be started in the middle of the program, not at the time when they are about to graduate from the program. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, the chair has a comment lang dun sa pagbibigay ng rice, ano? I understand that ang binibigay nyo is cash equivalent ng 18 kilos. And then the logic there is that when you deliver rice mismo, it will become almost impossible to it's a nightmare to get those 18 kilos to the beneficiaries. Kaya cash na lang. But you also have a problem there because you don't know if they'll buy rice with the cash na inyong binigay. So, Madam Secretary, I guess you have to do it by region or by province. You cannot have a one-time approach, no? Like in Davao Oriental, we have a rice granary. We produce 7-tonner in Banay-Banay. We also have a very good kind in Katiil. But the rice given to the 4-piece members are not from the province. So, pwede rin doon na mismo kunin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Gusto ko lang sabihin, nung February 2016, bago ho pumasok ang bagong administrasyon, pumirma ho ang DSWD ng kontrata with the World Bank and the ADB na extend ang 4-piece hanggang 2019. Okay? So ito ho yung kontrata natin ngayon. That's why patuloy yung pag-aaral natin. Pangalawa, sa usapin ho ng rice, meron na ho tayong experiences sa panahon ho ng payout, nandoon yung mga farmers cooperatives around sa land bank para bibili sila ng derecho. So we shall look at, because we came out also with guidelines, asking our municipal links and city links to ensure na ito ay para sa bigas. At may iba-iba ho silang experiences. And I think tama ang sinabi niyo, Mr. Chair, we have to do it step by step. So I think we start with gathering the experience of how the different field officers made sure that the money was really used for rice. Pangalawa, mamili ho ng pilot areas where we can already start doing that. Again, I would like to thank Representative Sandy kasi talaga hong kailangan natin ayusin nito. And we have also to note that ang kailangan ho ng tulong ng ating mga workers kasi right now 1:800, 1:1,200 yung average na caseload nila. Kaya kapag ibigay natin ng bagong trabaho sa kanila na rice, mahirapan sila. Pero kung may ibang forma ho, no, yung pakipag-usap sa mga farmers cooperatives, anong ginagawa nila ngayon, mas tama talaga na bigas kaysa pera ang ibigay.
Okay, is there any more who would like to propound questions? No more? Yes, Senator Honasan, please.
Madam Secretary, just one last parting issue. No? It appears that there is an issue that cuts across the bureaucratic and policy landscape, and that is our information management system. Pati ho kami rito na mga problema kami because every time we ask data, we are given raw quantitative data. Baka ho, you might want to look at it, no, from the perspective of this is the eve of the budget deliberations. So you might want to look at it para we can consolidate, and we will all be debating and making important long-term policy decisions based on current, no, accurate and timely information. That's just my humble suggestion. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat po sa suggestion, Senator Hunasan.
Wala na? No more? Majority leaders recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we terminate the hearing of on the appointment of Mrs. Judy Taguiwalo.
Terminate, huh?
Terminate the hearing. Yeah.
Okay, there's a motion to terminate the hearing.
So we can excuse the nominee
yeah.
already.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And then we move for an executive session to deliberate her appointment, Mr. Chair, before we totally adjourn.
Okay. So we will have that. Our secretary is now excused. Session suspended.
We go on to executive session with lunch. Hearing, hindi meeting. Hindi meeting. So, doon na sa executive session.